Good evening. It's the Saints man, small van driver on the CX, and this is the week in the life of from last week, from Monday the 2nd onwards. It's at the moment it's Monday the 9th, and it's up at 6 at night. The wife's out around her friends. She's a lot better now. So thanks everyone for your comments and asking the well-being of my good lady. She's pretty much 90% better. So yeah, completely lost New Year, completely lost Christmas Day, and yeah, she's feeling better. It's better now. I'm feeling better. Still tired. Still can't get rid of the tiredness. After doing I'd say a long day. I haven't done a long day really, but yeah. But anyway, thanks to all subscribers, everyone that's put thanks, best wishes to my wife and to me. Yeah, glad to say we are. We're back. We're back. We're getting there. Hopefully, be 100% by another week or two. Right, let's go back. So we start last week. I'll go the fuel prices again. My fuel is UK Fuels BP one, which come out at 156. This is with VAT, 156.8. And my other UK fast fuel card come out at 158.19. So we're using the BP fuel card last week, which has changed this week. Actually, it's gone the other way. The fast fuel one's cheaper, but we'll come to that next week. Yeah. So Monday the 2nd didn't work. Bank holiday. No work around. I didn't work between Christmas and New Year. I had no intention to anyway. Unless there'd have been a wait and return, but I didn't feel up to it. But no, it's working out. It's what we say. Between Christmas and New Year, it ain't worth it. Not unless you've got a wait and return, or you're happy to quote and run back empty. Really, I suppose. So didn't work the Monday. That was a bank holiday. There was a bit of work around, but again, if you can't get home and you're not tramping, in this really. So I started on the Tuesday. Again, last week I weren't feeling brilliant. I decided I was going to stay as local as I could. I'd actually got a job booked in from Northampton to Bedford. It was just outside Bedford, and it was just 2 boxes, and it was just a cheap little job. I got well paid for it, well over £1 a mile, because short jobs you get paid more. And then I decided, even if I drove home, I was only 18 miles from home where I ended up. I started in Northampton, went to Bedford, and I was only 18 miles from home. So I thought, if I don't get nothing else, I don't want nothing long. But I just picked a job up from Bedford Hospital to St Ives, which was it was like samples, blood samples, water samples, urine samples. They went to St Ives, which again is not too far. It's between Huntingdon and Cambridge. It's about 35 miles from my house. Again, did that job, and it was really quiet. The feed was quiet, which we expect it to. People still on holiday. The 3rd, the kids weren't back at school, and that was it. That was that day done. Didn't do much. Did 109 miles in total. Went on to Wednesday. Again, I got a job booked in Tuesday afternoon. I looked on the feed. There was a job there. I had to go to Daventry to pick it up, and it went to Atherstone, and it was samples. It was food samples going to head office in Atherstone. Good money. It was good money on the pence per mile, but it was even good money. I had to travel like best part of 20 miles to Daventry to pick it up, and it still paid well. And from Atherstone, I got a job from Tamworth. After I did that, quite soon, didn't have to wait too long, and I got that to Wigston, South Leicester, which is good because it's staying within 30, 40 miles of my house. And if I weren't feeling brilliant about doing a long day, so again, I did that one, and again, got well paid because it's a small job, more pence per mile. Obviously, the gross is not going to be nowhere near. I'm not eating 200 a day. I'm not even eating 100 a day. But it's just ticking over. And once I did the weeks to Wigston, I got to Wigston, and that was a pallet. I took a pallet to Wigston. I sat around South Leicester, and I thought, do I just trundle home? And I sat in Wigston. I thought I might get some at Leicester, but I want it to stay close to home. So if it's going, and there was stuff going long distance to Scotland and up to Newcastle, but again, I'm not tramping. If I was tramping, I would have tried to get one. And then a job popped up for the Thursday. This is Wednesday afternoon still. And there was a job on there from Thursday, pick up from a village between Northampton and Leicester. So it was on my way home. and it was picking up one box to go to Ipswich for the Thursday. And it had got to be in Ipswich between 9 and 10. So, although I say stay local, if I am going to go distance, I'm going to get up early and get there early. And it gives me chance to get home. If you're in Ipswich at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, there's a good chance you're going to get nothing. But if you're in Ipswich at 9, between 9 and 10, there's a good chance you're going to get something out of Ipswich. And it's going to come surely west towards where I am. So I quoted on this job. Again, the money's been all right. It hasn't dropped off for me. I mean, guys are saying that it's going for peanuts. Some jobs probably are. But I got good money on this. So I went and picked it up. It was one box. It was 6 bottles in it. 6 bottles of gin. I'll tell you what it was. It was gin. And yeah, I picked that up. And it was some posh gin. And took that home. And that was my Wednesday done. And again, I only did 130 miles in total. I only did 7 hours. I did 6 hours on the Tuesday. I did 7 hours. And a lot of that was waiting around. But it was just about all I could manage because I weren't feeling brilliant. But I decided, right, we're going to Ipswich. So I still started at 7 o'clock. Ipswich is about 2 hours, just under 2 hours on the way to Felixstowe. And I'd started at 7:30 each day, and this was 7. And it was fine. We'd been in bed early because we weren't feeling 100%. And took the load down to Ipswich. I was there for 9 and tipped. And got rid. It was outside of Ipswich, actually. It was about 4 miles short of Ipswich. It was a village, but it got a little industrial estate, and it was to a company. So, happy days. And then I thought, right, I checked around, and there was no small drivers in my 10-mile circle, 15-mile circle. There was short wheelbase driver and a mid-wheels, but not many drivers. But there weren't no work either. So we sat and waited about an hour and a half. Now, after an hour, I was at Morrison's. After that, you begin to think, this was a bad move because I'm going to be driving home empty or driving back, right, losing money. And then a complete good luck thing happened. There was a job from Felixstowe to Wellingborough, which is 8 miles from my house. And I thought, I'm going to have this. And I was instantly going to put a low bid in, sort of 70 pence, 65, 70 pence, just to get home. Because I was going to be driving home empty house. But I looked around, I thought, no, there's still drivers. There's no driver going to do it that cheap because there's no one near the small van. So I quoted the normal money. In fact, I quoted a little bit more than what I had going down because it was a bit further. And I got it. Yeah, I got it. So I think it pays to stick to your principles. Don't go cheap, because you desperately want it. I think you'll get it at normal price. I think if someone went in at a really cheap price, they'd probably dismiss it as, it's cowboy or it's co-loading or whatever. And it was picking up a lorry part. It was a turbo for a lorry from one dealership to another. It was stock transfer, another dealership in Wellingborough needed it. And I picked it up. It was 25 kilo, and it was a turbo for a big truck. And, in a box. Easy. Felixstowe, and it was right near. I used to do the containers years ago. Many, many years ago. I did it for about 2 weeks when I was self-employed, and it's not an earner. It's not an earner. It weren't then. I don't know whether it is now. It definitely wasn't then because they're waiting around and faffing around. And yeah, it's just not, it wouldn't work. But it brought back memories, go to Felixstowe, and the truck place was just right near the port, over the road, just opposite Trinity Dock where we used to go in. And yeah, picked that up and done it absolutely easy. And I thought, right, well, I went home. And again, I was home 2 o'clock. I started at 7 in the morning, I was home. And I'd earned some good money that day, pretty good money. I got good money going down, good money coming back. Not too many dead miles, really. The Wellingborough one was dead miles, I suppose, and Ipswich to Felixstowe, but not too much. And then a job popped up for Friday. This was Thursday afternoon, from Northampton to Reading and then on to Fareham. And it was the solicitors. I've done work for this company before, the shipper. He's got the contract for the solicitors, which is great. And I put a quote in, and it was pick up Thursday before at 5:30 and deliver it Friday morning. And it was first delivery was Reading. You could be in Reading at 9, but you got to be in Fareham, Whiteley, Fareham for 10:30. So great. I thought on a Friday, I'm going to take a chance down in Portsmouth, Southampton, Fareham, Havant, round there, that I'm going to get a job somewhere back, because it was picking up. The feed was getting busier because people were back to work. So I got up early. I got up early. Still left at 7, and I was in Reading at about 10 to 9, and it was a residential address, laptop, printer or whatever, and they were there. It was great. So I dropped that off, and I was delivering to their other office in Whiteley, and I was there at 10:15, delivered, done. So then I'm like, right, now I've got a really good chance, hopefully, to get a job somewhere back to the Midlands and make a good day of Friday. And oh my God, it was a struggle. The reason it was a struggle, there was a few drivers around who hadn't had a job at all. There was no work coming out of Southampton. So it was like, not good. There was a job on there, believe it or not. Fareham to Fareham. I was in just outside Fareham, and it was 35 parcels deliver to a PO 15 to PO something else postcode. Urgent. Didn't say a price. 35 drops. I thought, Jesus, it'd take me all day. It'd take me half a day, and I'll still be in Fareham. I might get good money for it, but not going to happen. I didn't feel work for that. So I sat there and thought, right, what do we do? What do we do? And then a job popped up. 6 mile-ish, something like that, from literally a mile from where I was, going to Portsmouth. Well, 2 miles from where I was, and it was 8 miles in total. And I thought, do you know what? If I bid on this and get it, at least I've got my pence per mile and a bit of petrol money if I am going to drive home empty. So I bid for it and got it. And it literally was pick up 2 miles down the road, one parcel going into Portsmouth. And then as I booked it, he says, oh, can I have your registration for you've got to get in somewhere? And you go into the naval base. And it should have flagged up then why I got it. I've been to Rosyth before, and that takes a while to get in because there's a lot of ID you have to get past. I thought, well, it'll be okay. And I picked the item up, and that was a pain. That was from a distribution centre, one of the parcel delivery distributions. And the stuff was everywhere. They couldn't find it to start with, but then they did one item. And off I went, and they said they tried to deliver this item before, but they couldn't. The person who took it hadn't got a British passport, so he couldn't get on the naval base. And they wouldn't let him on, so he got refused. So I got it. I've got a British passport, and yeah, I got ID, company ID, and all that. So I got the engineer's number as well. So I phoned him about 5 minutes before I got to the naval base to say, am I going to the right place? Yep. You go the left-hand lane. You have to get a pass. You'll get a chaperone. He said, if you get too much aggro, you have to ring me. He says, but you should be all right. He says, because if you should get in. So when I got there, yeah, it was straight away. They were on me saying, yep, you need to go to the pass office to get a pass, temporary pass. They give you, okay, and you need to do this, to that, and they put you in a holding area. And they checked the van, they put mirrors under, checked the van, they put some counter thing in, I think it was for explosive, to see if it made a noise, it didn't. Checked the van thoroughly, they took my passport number, they took a driving licence, had a look at that, and then they says, you need to wait for a chaperone, you get chaperoned in. And he says, and the problem is, we're on swap over, and the chaperones I've got, they're all in there with guys. And they stay with them guys until they come out. And there was one in front of me waiting for a chaperone. I'm like, okay, so... And I've been a while. I'm like, oh, for God's sake. So I sat there and I phoned the engineer up. I says, I'm in and I'm in the holding area, but they've got no chaperones at the moment. I says, I don't know when I'm going to get one. And he went, forget that. He said, I'll come and get it. He said, I'll drive. He said, I've got the passes. I can come in and out with my passes. I'll come out and I'll get it off you. Which he did. And I'm glad he did because the chaperones weren't appearing. We'd gone round this left turn and we were in lines. And the chaperone hadn't appeared for the bloke in front of me, and he'd been there about half an hour. Because once they chaperone someone in, they stay with them. They don't just leave them. They stay with them until they've done what they have to do, and then they come out with them. And they're in cars, just ordinary cars. So, yeah, that was great, because the engineer did come out. It took him 10 minutes, because he had to get his stuff and whatever. But we got it done. But it was, for the money I got paid, it was time. But while that was happening, while I was waiting, a job popped up from Havant, near where I was, very close to where I was, to Northampton. And it was a backload, and it said backload. I knew it was going to backload because there was a 4 hour window to pick it up, and you could co-load. You could drop it off um, up to 5 o'clock at night or the next day. It didn't matter. So I knew it would have to be a cheap job. But then I see the shipper it was. It's a shipper I know. I worked for him a little bit. He knows me, and I knew it would be. I'll phone up. I thought he co-loading all that. It's going to be like petrol money home, which it was. Just it was a bit more. It was a bit more petrol money home, but it was better than nothing, and it was delivering 3 miles from where I live. So I phoned him up and I says, "Look, how much is in this job? I can do it for you, depending on how much I'm going home and what it is." And yeah, we had a quick negotiation, and I was happy with what I got because I'd done that little job, even though it took me a while. I'd only done 8 miles for 30 quid, so I'd got pence per mile in the tank, sort of thing, in the bank, not the tank. So yeah, I did it, and I picked it up, and it was a small box like that. And he says, if you get anything else, he said, you can deliver this tomorrow. He's really good. He says, just if you can't get there before 5, just take it in the morning, David. And I said, okay. I says, I'll have a look. Well, I'm not bothered. It was my first long day, and I thought, no, I'm just going to drive home. And I did. I drove home, and I got to the company at 25 to 5, dropped it off, and I was home. I was home just before 5. So even then, I only done 10 hour day, and I got good money. In fact, I hit my target. I went over my target, over my 200. So yeah, it was a good day Friday, and it weren't too bad. Yeah, the naval one was a bit of a faff, but going down, I got good money, and I've worked. So yeah, it was a good day Friday. So my week last week, I've worked 4 days. I did 790 miles in total in 4 days. I normally do like 1,500 in a week, at minimum 12, 1,300, and I did 790. My duty time was 30 hours over 4 days, so that's 7.5 hours a day, and I did a long day Friday, so I was on, okay. 19 hours of that was driving. I normally do 30 hours driving, 35, and I earned with VAT. I'm going to do the figures with my 11 with me VAT. My total is without VAT was 545. Then you add 20%, and 9% goes to the VAT because I'm on a flat rate scheme, and it's the first year I only pay 9%, not 10, and 11% to me. So I earned £654, which it ain't a lot. It's nowhere near 1,000. I worked 4 short days. I don't think that's too bad. And my average pence per mile was 70 pence because I did some dead miles on the Tuesday, on the Wednesday, and a bit on the Thursday. I did dead miles. So I did. It's first week of January, it is. I mean, you look at my figures. 2021, I did 360 quid. And in 2022, I did 788 because I was working on a contract with my friend Chris. But I did loads more miles on that. I did good gross all through January because I was doing a lot of distance work. But I was having to come back empty. So my pence per mile wasn't brilliant, although my gross was. So yeah, it was my first week back after Christmas. Gradually feeling better. Feel pretty good now. I say I'm not 100%. I'm a bit tired again now, but it's what it is, isn't it? And off we start this week. And this week I'm doing a full week. Obviously it's Monday night now. I've done a good day today. 2 big jobs, so I won't tell you all about them till next week. All in all, not too bad. My van is going in for service a week today. I'm having the day off anyway. I've got some other things I've got to do, and Darren's having it, and it's got a big service. But I've paid my subscriptions. I've just paid my insurance on the van, my goods in transit, my public liability. All my big bills have gone out, apart from whatever the van is going to cost me. The cruise control packed up actually. On my van, the speed limiter works. The cruise control don't. I tried the fuse. That was fine. I don't know what it is. There's Darren reckons he'll be able to do that. And my windscreen washer bottle packed up. So we tried that. I thought that would be a fuse. It wasn't. The fuse was fine. It's a little pump, and it's hard. It's hard for me to get at. It's not hard for Darren. He puts it on the lifter, takes the wheel off. It's on the right hand side, and he just changes the pump. So it will have a bit of work doing to it, but I've just paid my big bills, so I've got a VAT bill to pay in a couple of months, 2 months, which is okay. That's ongoing. So hopefully that's all the big bills. My fuel, I will say my fuel for this week. My fuel for this week, well, last week was 156.8 with VAT, and this week it's 152.66. My fuel, my UK fast fuel has gone down. They actually reduced it today because I didn't use it last week, but I'm using it this week. So it's down at 127.22, and with VAT it's 152.66. So fuel's still cheap. So that's one good thing. Start the year with, and all in all, that's it. So I hope you're all doing well. Thanks for the subscribers. Once again, thanks for the comments. And if there's any questions, I do try and answer them. I do miss the odd one or two because I don't really look back a lot. I just see them when they come up on notification. But I do try. So hope you're all doing well. If you want to keep liking and subscribing, I'm almost up to 600. Believe it. Who believe that? Listening to some bald old fart talking, 600 of you. Man, life's boring. Anyway, all the best. Hope it's going well and speak next week.